Now we're going to talk about the chorus to Vision of You. After we come out of that G minor-ish chord, it basically goes right back to that first chord of the verse, which is that D chord. And now instead of leaving it open, that E string, that high E string open, we can actually close it up and play the full D over that. So put your middle finger where it should be, if you were playing a D. So that's the first chord in the chorus, up to a G. So up to a G, and then we effectively play kind of a B minor-ish type chord. Remember when we were talking earlier in the verse, that G minor type chord, instead of playing a G like we know it to be there, we just take these two fingers and move them each up a string respectively. Take that same formation that you're making with your fingers, and now let's pull that all the way over to the 8th fret. So that same concept as here, but pull it over to the 8th fret, leave it there, all the way back, same formation. Now we're gonna take our pinky off, and we're gonna and just have those two on. So now we've split it, because here we're in the same formation as up here. Take your ring finger and move that up to the 7th fret. So your middle finger's on the 6th fret. Your ring finger is going to be on the 7th fret. Okay? To make kind of that A-ish chord. Same formation, back a step. So here we go. I know this sounds kind of confusing, but it's actually really, really simple. Come back to that G type chord, you'll probably see me put in other little, put my ring or my pointer finger on different, strings here. I'll just kind of talk about that real quick, because I kind of like to walk up to the other things subtly within that. So if you'll bring that up. Now you're taking your pointer finger, putting it on the 2nd fret, B string, walking it up. So it's going to be like, and you're helping yourself come back into the formation for that next chord. So instead of having to move your fingers around, and change chords, drastically with your entire hand, you can start to kind of walk them up and more fluidly kind of flow into that chord. So I'll play it one more time, and then we'll talk about the bridge. So this is the bridge to Vision of You by Shane and Shane. And this is arguably probably the easiest part of the song. What we're going to do is we're going to effectively form an F chord. It's going to go kind of F to G, again, relative to the capo. And let's talk real quick about the F chord that is produced that we're going to actually play here. A lot of people are taught, if you've ever taken lessons or if you've ever, if you've been playing guitar for years, to play an F and bridge it, kind of like you're playing an electric guitar, which is a proper full F chord. I'm not going to argue about that. I don't think anybody would argue about that. But when you're playing acoustic songs and you're playing acoustic guitar, it's you want to kind of think about how can we play these chords and how can we play stuff open, because it makes it a little bit prettier. So instead of playing that bridge down, that compressed full F, again, it's a full F. We're going to play it a little bit differently. And the best way to kind of show you this, if you've never done it before, is to form kind of a C, the traditional C chord that everybody knows. But pull your thumb. Again, we were talking about taking your thumb and pushing the string down with that. Let's take that thumb and let's put that where your pointer finger would otherwise be for a full F. And we're going to press down the E string there on that first fret. Now, holding that C chord, take your pinky, and now where the string that your middle finger is on, let's move one fret up by pressing that down with your pinky and taking now your middle finger, since it's free, and dropping it one string. So that will actually form an F chord. The only real difference in terms of how this is played from this chord is that it's going to leave that high E string open at the bottom there. So it kind of adds a little bit of almost like a mysterious kind of element to that. That's an F. So what we're going to do, and this is the F that they play in the song, take that, and then in certain portions of it, we're actually going to take, to make, even prettier open chords, take a finger or two out of that, specifically either your pointer or your middle, or both even. So you can play it like this. You can take your middle finger off, like that, or even take, leave the middle finger on and take your pointer finger off, or both. It's a good way to kind of just mix up that chord. Instead of it being just kind of a redundant, boring F, you can kind of bring those in and out. So at any rate, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit, but the bridge is played, again, F relative to the capo up to G. So we're going to... So we talked about how to play this G earlier, and again, in reference to adding other little chords inside of that, taking your two free fingers, and we'll place these on in these same areas here. So we're going to go up from the F. Out of the bridge, go back to that D chord. When he says Jesus come in the song, coming back into the chorus. That's how you play Vision of You by Shane and Shane.